Hello and welcome to the Day There Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka.
Obviously,
Hello.
Raka is on remote location right now.
Yeah, parts unknown.
Parts unknown. So we're going to give you part two of our Bad Juju series. And today we're going to talk about evil or slash haunted locations where many things have happened and people have claimed that they're evil places. Okay, we have if time permits, we have 4 places. Maybe we'll go into a little more. We'll see. Let us know what you guys think and, start off. All right, first off, we have the Suicide Forest or the Okigara Forest. How'd that sound?
Sounds good to me. Apologize for any mispronunciations. These are places around the world in languages that we are not as familiar with. But yes, the Akigahara Forest, or we'll just call it the Suicide Forest. And again, just to backtrack, we're really delving into places that have some historical tragic events.
Definitely.
And definitely there have been more than one, if not hundreds of reported ghost apparition sightings, bad feelings, all around bad juju that takes place in these grounds. For whatever you may think, obviously there have been tragic atrocities all over the world in different time periods. But some places, for some reason, keep some permanence. Now, this is a very special and unique place because, as we've mentioned, it's called the Suicide Forest for a reason. And unfortunately, it is the number 2 most common place on the planet where people will gather to take their own lives.
Want to gander what number 1 is?
Oh, I have read number 1, and number 1 is, to anybody's surprise, the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, California.
Bingo, bango. So
go figure. I mean,
I think, don't call me. I think 1 or 2, very few people, 1 or 2 people have actually survived the fall from the Golden Gate Bridge because when you hit
the water, the rocks, the cold water. I mean, you name it. Just a little sidebar. Life is very precious, no matter what you're going through.
Definitely.
If you feel in any way an inkling like that, please reach out to someone before you take any drastic measures. Please, we beg you, we beseech you, please reach out to someone, a trained professional or even a friend, and talk things out. Give it that last plea for help before you go anywhere.
100%. There's many people. There's many places and people you could talk to, and if not, you could just reach out to someone. Whomever it is. It doesn't have to be anyone.
Please. So going back to the force in feudal Japan,
the
committed suicide was
built. How the actual area came to be.
How?
Well, basically, it was the last, and I'm saying I do believe it was the last eruption from Mount Fiji, which essentially created Aokigahara. And I'll give you an example. The forest floor mostly consists of volcanic rock, which can be difficult to penetrate with hand tools. Since the forest is very dense, in recent years, hikers and tourists, Suicide Forest, trekking through Aokigahara have begun to use plastic tape to mark their paths to avoid getting lost. They've also used rope or string, which would lead into what we're going to talk about later, how once they get lost, people find people hanged at the end of these tapes or ropes, which is kind of messed up.
It can be quite maddening to get lost in circles and circles in a forest where everything looks the same.
Because of the area being based on rock, on lava, and and all these caves and craters were created originally. They used to go inside and commit the suicide there. It's been falsely portrayed as a place where navigational compasses go haywire. Needles of magnetic compasses will move if placed directly on the lava, aligning with the rock's natural magnetism, which varies in iron content and strength by location. However, a compass behaves as expected when held at a normal height. Now, a lot of people have said when they try to poo-poo the spirits and the ghosts and the evil that the forest quote unquote entails, they've said that the magnetic forces, and because it's built off of that, would cause haywire for someone who is going through depression or going through and having these suicidal thoughts and having these emotions and feelings, that it would somehow affect the brain waves, brain patterns, and cause them to do something that they wouldn't do normally. Again, who knows? But
yeah, also the little tidbit that the name is also known as Jukai, which means loosely sea of trees. The tree coverage is so thick that even at noon, you can hardly find a bright spot.
Yeah, it's crazy. Nothing grows there except
no.
you have the forest. There's no animal life there.
No, it's very quiet, eerily quiet. And I assume when you're alone with your own thoughts, and if you're in a vulnerable spot, the silence can be deafening. It can be maddening.
I'm pretty sure, Raka, you probably have no service in there either.
So many Japanese believe that the forest is haunted and dare not go nearby, not even near the area.
Yeah, they say the ghosts of the people who committed suicide may still be there, urging you to join them.
Yeah, I mean, the locals say a lot about folklore, and they mention about these ghosts and apparitions and bad spirits. They say that the visitors who come to the forest, there's only three types: the trekkers, the curious, and those planning one-way trips.
They have a big freaking sign before you go in. You know that, right?
What does the sign say?
Something to the effect, that you don't, if you're going to go and do something drastic, don't do it, this and that, people love you. So I'm not, don't quote me, because obviously I don't know the language, but then they all...
I have a loose translation here that says, the sign reads, "Your life is something precious that was given to you by your parents. Think about your parents, siblings, and children once more. Do not be troubled alone." And the sign ends with a helpline telephone number.
Yeah.
So lost can seek help.
It's crazy.
So again, the government acknowledges that there's an attraction for this tragic end. And so they put it on as much as they can, any kind of direction they can to help you. It's sad, and I can understand the lore. Again, I feel that no matter what happens in life, how bad things get, life is still very precious, and you want to hold on to it. As far as we know, and we're going to get to this on another topic very, very soon, we don't know if we get a redo. We don't know if we get a second chance. This is the one time. Even if we do come back and recirculate and reincarnate.
You get one shot at this. Maybe you get more. Maybe
get more. We don't know. So why lose out on...
Some know, or some think they know.
So getting back to this, in Japanese mythology, this place is known to be haunted by demons. This is one of the reasons why the Japanese are still afraid to enter the forest. And, so here we have another culture that is far from Christian. It's not a very Christian or Judeo-Christian lineage, but their culture believes in an existence of demons and that they dwell in this forest. So we started the whole Juju series with an exorcist topic, and it segues into here because it by definition asks the question: is it solely confined to those who believe in Christ? That means the Judeo-Christian tradition is the tried and true one. Not necessarily so.
Yeah.
So it seems that all over the world, no matter, despite the religion, there is a common belief that there is a good side and a bad side.
Of course, and you have, not to get into any particular religious, but yeah, how it's a sin in, Roman Catholicism or Christianity for that matter, it may not be a sin to commit suicide somewhere else. Not pointing fingers or saying anything about any other religion. But, all this, people say it started from a 1961 novel called, roughly translated, Tower of Waves. All right. Written by Seicho Matsumoto. But they're also saying that way before that, people were committing suicides.
Yes.
Yeah, in 2010, the police recorded more than 200 people had attempted suicide, with 54, actually completing it. It's just
that novel actually it romanticized the suicide.
Yeah,
lovers committed suicide in the forest, which revitalized the suicide force's popularity.
Yep.
It was in 1993. It was a bestseller. But since then, I think they've stopped publication just because it just encouraged and brought attention to this, which doesn't need any attention.
Wouldn't somebody say it's not really the book's fault because, hey, Romeo and Juliet, they committed suicide. Yeah,
right.
It has not increased. We can't quantify it from all the time, but I don't think that when the movies came out, it didn't exacerbate, it didn't freaking build up suicide rates.
So, right. It does ask. It begs a more philosophical question: does any kind of publicization of it encourage more of it, or no matter what you would say, people will tend to go that route regardless?
Or is this place really evil, and the dark energies attract the people to do this?
Well, yes. Harkening back to the mythology, there is a term called and again, I hope I don't butcher this, Yurei, Urei, I guess. Again, sorry if I mispronounced that. Which it really means the souls filled with hatred, sadness, or desire for revenge. So according to legend, people bring their family members during famine to the forest and leave them there to die in order to save their food and other family members. So basically sacrifice. Those left in the forest would slowly die due to starvation, turning them into the Yurei, or the souls that are filled with hatred, sadness, and desire for revenge. So, if in fact there is a spiritual side to everything, and this spiritual side, through years, eons, decades, generations of being human sacrifice for the sake of saving others and during harsh times of famine and whatnot, and for whatever reasons, through the years, it attracted wayward souls to commit suicide. Yeah, how could it not be a lightning rod for, at the very least, pissed off souls, confused souls, angry souls, and possibly, the dark side?
Yeah. Look,
in any event, it is
don't know the answers, but it's just something. Look, where there's smoke, there's fire. If it quacks like a duck and talks like a duck or looks like a duck or smells like a duck, it's probably a duck. That's how I feel.
There have been many eyewitness accounts of those who visited due to curiosity the forest, and that they have felt changes, whether it is physical or just psychological or mixture of both. Changes, alterations, an eerie feeling, the hair on their neck stands up. You can understand it. It's dark even during daytime. It's silent. It's void of wildlife. It's eerily silent. It's so surreal of a place on Earth that it might psychologically bring about some suppressed feelings.
Yeah.
Or there could be some bad juju hanging around there.
No.
That's just waiting.
Regardless of whether or not it's electromagnetic fields that attack the brain or give you a feeling or whatever, just by virtue of all the people who have committed suicide in the forest, who have those thoughts, you attract that shit. You know what I mean? And I think that if there weren't bad energies there, after all the suicides, there definitely was. So yeah, it's one and the same. It's all connected.
100%. No doubt. No doubt. All right. What's the next visitation spot?
So bottom line, do you believe it? Yes or no?
I believe it. I believe that.
Same here.
Beyond smoke and fire, I believe that this is a place that attracts death. Any way you want to slice it, whether it be psychological, physical, ambiance, setting, history, you name it. Bad things happen here over and over again. You can romanticize it, you can plagiarize it, you can fluff it up with pillows, you can make it all pretty, you could not. You could put signs for help, whatever. It still continues. It's still tragic. It's still an occurrence that is disturbing, and it kills people, or people get killed by the place, and it's still ongoing. And you had mentioned it right there before. There is a magnetic depolarization and a warpness about the place that just screams bad juju.
All right, moving on next, we got Lake Shawnee Amusement Park.
Lake Shawnee Amusement Park. And where, pray tell, is this?
That is in West Virginia.
Country Mama?
Do believe it's 470 Matacoa Road, Rock, West Virginia. All right. Now, when I heard this at first and then I researched it, I mean, it sounded, no joke, like something out of a horror movie. Completely. It was
Revenge of the Clowns?
No, like some supernatural, bad juju type movie. All right. It was closed in 1966 after a bunch of shit happened. Early on, I'm not gonna give you the dates and everything. I'm just gonna glam over real quick. So, in one instance, there was a truck driver who backed up on a delivery and backed up and killed a little girl. Okay, that was one. It also was an area that had an amusement park, or had a swimming pool, and families and parents would leave their kids and they come pick them up later on, to swim and everything. Several kids died, within the time when this amusement park was open, and there was also another kid who drowned. When they found him, when the mom came to pick him up, his hand was stuck all the way at the bottom, that he got pulled in by the drain, I guess, And there was this guy, G. White, who was a big fan of the amusement park, who lived there, and when he got older, he bought it in 1985. He bought the property, and then as they're trying to fix up the property and, give it a spruce up, whatever. They start digging, and when they're excavating the property, what do they find? They find bones. The fucking amusement park was built on an Indian burial ground, basically.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And it goes further because, but that's essentially, basically what, the thing is. Now we know, furthermore, that now that we know what it is, it was built on the site of the Clay family massacre, which saw local Native Americans kidnap and kill members of a settling family. The amusement park was opened in 1926 to cater to the families of nearby coal workers. Like I said, after the death of 2 children in the park ground, the fun fair finally closed in 1966, like I said before, leaving behind many of his rickety wood and steel rides. The rusting Ferris wheel and children's swing stand like dead trees among the unkept wildlife. And people say when they go there, you see kids on the swings and on the rides and all kinds of creepy, crazy stuff. And yeah, it's freaking, now you can go and you could visit it by appointment only. And it's like a haunted attraction now. So, either way, they made money off of it. Go figure.
Do these people ever learn?
No, I guess they never saw Poltergeist. They never saw freaking
horror.
They never saw The Conjuring. They never saw. We can go on and on and on and on. So.
Okay, so a lot of things here. A lot of things to get our teeth into. So, like Trail of Tears, and many other places in this nation, unfortunately, it is part of the history we cannot erase, and actually we should be remembering more than we do.
Yeah, actually we should.
That has befallen upon the Native American Indians and many different tribes and many different nations that they had. There are many burial grounds, and not just burial grounds. There are many places of genocide and slaughter, and both sides are involved, and but by and large, huge genocide, unofficial program by the budding country to get more land, to be aggressive, be rid of the Native Americans. Unfortunately, it is what it is. It is what happened. It is part of the history of where we are today. It's unfortunate that there are too many stories, more than not, of cursed grounds that have some tie to that massacre one way or the other. And although I have to look more deep, and I wouldn't mind within striking distance of it, at some point, we might have to take a field trip out there to check it out. But I have to believe there's something to it. Now, it's not on that level of massive depth.
I'm looking at the website right now. Dude, this is insane. All right. You can schedule a dark carnival. You can have a daytime experience or a nighttime experience in which, they invite investigations and paranormal stuff. They have a visitor story. They have an FAQ. They have a merch store. They have a history it is insane. Lake Shawnee's history runs deep. That the Shawnee tribe, Mitchell Clay, Conley T. Snidow Sr., and Gaylord White, who I mentioned before. And all visits by appointment only. They turned this whole freaking thing into a complete farce. Daytime experience, a photo history tour. You can schedule it. Then you have an overnight experience, perfect for investigations and enthusiasts. Schedule a visit. But like you said, it's got to be, I don't know.
Big Iz, can I ask you a question?
Yes, you can.
So would you dance with the devil under a pale moonlight in this campground?
Hey, I'm down to go. Shit, I have no restraints, especially now. I mean, you
I
can't get
mean,
more,
I'm down
any
to
more
visit, but
can't
I
get
don't
more
know.
social
I don't.
distancing, you know.
There's one thing to learn about a place. There's another thing to transform it into a novelty. I mean, you really, really spit in the eye of the devil. He may love that. I just think
Or
it skirts the respect factor here.
or it could be all bullshit.
Interesting. How do you feel?
I think that something bad happened, and I think they are making a profit off of it.
You know for sure they're capitalizing, but do you feel this is a legit haunted evil dwelling?
Look, when I first researched it, yeah. Now that I'm looking at the whole thing, I mean, they got a better website than we do. It's freaking as seen on Travel Channel, YouTube, Freeform, National Geographic, TLC, Discovery. They have the whole shebang bang. I mean, they have freaking social media. They have a Facebook right now. They have, I mean,
I don't care if you dress it up in Queen Anne's dress and a freaking big white puffy top on. Yeah, I'm not going. You know what?
shirt. It says life is better at the lake. How about that? I'll buy you a shirt.
I don't know. I have my reservations. Listen, Indian Burial Grounds. I think we gotta be respectful. First and foremost, in delving with spirits, good or bad. Every
Look,
medium.
you have your wedding, your birthday party, summer party, bachelor and bachelorette.
Wait. No, reel it in. Reel it in. Every medium tells you have to enter a supposed haunted or occupied space with respect.
Of course.
So first and foremost, before you enter, and I just give this advice again, I'm no shaman here, but you must give your respect to the place. Now, they're spiritual, right? So do spirits just occupy a physical place?
No. It all depends what you believe. That's what we're getting into this shit, man. That's what we're getting into the bad juju, because people believe certain different things. And you can't knock someone from North America who believes in a certain way to someone in Japan who believes something else, to someone in Scandinavia who believes something else, someone who in South America believes something else, to whatever. What they believe it to be true. So who are we to say, what's right or wrong?
Well, yes. Well, that takes us into a neighboring state in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Eastern State Penitentiary. And we should delve into this a little more in depth.
Okay. I love that segue. That was good.
Because this is the state over. Now, and we're talking about, we talked about a place on Earth with massive suicides as an attraction. Now we just spoke about a Indian burial ground that has been violated or whatnot, and bad stuff happens, and now they've capitalized into a marketing thing, into a cash-in carnival. But we have a prison, Eastern State Penitentiary, in the neighboring state of Pennsylvania, where apparently so many different atrocities happened in this institution, where prisoners were dumped into solitude and at times were left in solitude to die, sometimes under tragic and torturous circumstances. Obviously, inhumane practices were performed.
It's a landmark, right?
What's that?
It's a landmark.
It is a landmark. It's been closed, and since it's been open since 1829, but it's been closed since because of many, 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 many horrific circumstances. Now, it has been dubbed as one of the most heavily paranormal heavy paranormal activity has taken place.
It looks absolutely awesome. It looks.
I don't know whether we can get authorization to visit.
You cannot. What they have is that they have tours.
Yes,
Museum.
tours, spend the night.
I'm not sure if we can, but I mean, it seems to me that Rocka doesn't want to spend the night at any spot because Rocka is.
You know what? You know what? Rocka's smart. Rocka respect. I respect. I would spend the night, but we must have a fail safe to get out of there. Should shit hit the fan, buddy, and it goes sideways quick. I don't want somebody to open the door. I want a priest. I want some holy water. I want backup. I want backup, baby.
We could bring E with us.
But it again, it's along the same vein of atrocities taking place with numerous souls that's feel either captivated or bound to the place where they died.
See, now to a degree, I think it's every year they hold a haunted attraction for Halloween there. So I'm not saying like Lake Shawnee, I take it with a grain of salt. I believe some messed up stuff happened there. But when they start making a profit off of it, either someone doesn't really give a crap or it's not as bad as people make it out to be and people are just exaggerating. Now, I know I'm going back and forth on this. But I'm trying to give you guys both sides and then you guys decide what you believe, I mean, look, even up until there's 6 attractions in 2014 they had Lockdown, the Machine Shop, the Detrius Infirmary, the Experiment, and Night Watch. 2016 also had 6 attractions. In 17 they entered Blood Yard in 2017. So, I mean, yeah, a lot of crazy stuff happened there. You have what's it called? You can tell me. It was the Keller Massacre of 1934. That was a big thing, Not to mention you had Al Capone stay there. You know that, right?
Yes, as well as I mean,
was bank robber Willie Sutton. I mean, what do you think?
I think it's worth investigating. Now, this leads us to the last segment of this episode today. In how can we possibly scientifically quantify evil, or for that matter, good, in the form of a spirit or non-physical entity? Many people have suggested electromagnetic waves, changes in temperature, because many people talk about a cold spot in an otherwise ambient room temperature space. There have been hundreds of videos of moving furniture, of flinging furniture, of swirls or light changes. Very few of them are authentic. Many of them can be debunked as camera tricks, illusions, or editing. So two-part thing here to consider. Leaving it open-ended question for our fans and anyone else out there in the scientific community. How can we quantify something physical for something that is not physical? And the second thing is how do we go about capturing it, for lack of a better word?
You're talking about now you're gonna have all the paranormal experts and the ghost hunters come out and the investigators to talk about these things. And even then, all that there are methods that you can track or you can record and different changes in atmosphere and electromagnetic fields and all that good stuff. And you could take pictures, but pictures can be doctored, let's be honest, especially now. I mean, I could freaking, do something, on your video screen, and it can make you look like a freaking cool, and you wouldn't even know about it, And it just, it's the more technology, but we still can't, because that is not quantifiable as of yet. I saw a show, which I can't remember which one it was, and the guy claimed to have spoken to his deceased daughter. And he recorded her, and he would record her, like kind of like how they did in what's that movie, Paranormal Activity. And then he used some other reader and some other thing, scientific reader and this and that, and combined all the things. And it took him like 6 weeks to get all the results. And I forgot who it was, and they checked it out, and he heard something, but was it really what he thought? Because we can, our mind, we can make ourselves believe or see anything.
Yes. That is the leading scientific answer, as science has resounded to say there's no such thing, and it's all in our minds. But science can't argue data, so we have to find
when bad stuff happens, like here in ESP, there in freaking Shawnee, in the suicide forest. There's facts and data that said people died. This happened. So, yes, there's a track record. There is facts that bad things happen.
There are coincidences. To be related to the place has to take a little bit of a one step further proof. Now, I'm still a believer. My whole issue is I would love somehow some proof to make other believers without question believe.
Well, that means that you would have to maybe partake in the festivities, if you know what I mean.
You know what? We might have to do that. And as soon as the world tilts back on its axis, hopefully we can venture out into one of these quote-unquote haunted evil places and see for ourselves. And as that day approaches, we're going to build a bevy of scientific methods and possible instrumentation to quantify and document the existence of the spiritual world. And I'll leave it at that.
All right. Obviously, we went a little too long. We definitely have to do a part 2 of this little topic. So, haunted places, evil places, bad juju places, we want to call it. But for now, we're done for now, and definitely stay tuned, because we're definitely gonna knock this out. This is definitely some interesting stuff.
I got chills just talking about all this stuff, man. Different possibilities of what could happen.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I am interested. I just want to make sure that we tread cautiously and lightly. But I am interested.
Hey, there's things we can do. So that being said, for the Dinner Dudes, I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka.
Stay tuned for our next. We're going to continue this one, and we're going to continue the Bad Juju series. So please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you have any, cool stories or cool places, or know of anything that we missed, and just let us know. And yeah, so everybody take care.
And I like to end it on a different note. We always send our love to the whales. Listen, once again, all love, baby. All love for everybody, okay? So want you to know, no matter where you are, no matter how this podcast finds you,
Yeah, definitely.
you are also loved, and reach out to somebody. You never know what, who, when, why will save your life, and you will do great things. So all love, baby. All love, Deader Nations, and everybody else out there.
All love. Take care, guys.
Take
Yeah.
care.